Hello students, my name is Niyati Seth and thanks for watching Edupedia word videos. My topic for the presentation is the types of movement in humans. This is the second section of the chapter Movement and Locomotion. So there are three types of movement in humans. Cells of the human body exhibit three main types of movements, namely Amoeboid, Ciliary and Muscular Movement, right? Some specialized cells in our body like macrophages and leukocytes in blood, they exhibit Amoeboid movement, okay? Just like amoeba moves. Macrophages and leukocytes of human, they also move like an amoeba. It is affected by pseudopodia formed by the streaming of protoplasm. Cytoskeletal elements like microfilaments are also involved in amoeboid movement. Now comes ciliary movement, that is the second type of movement which is found in humans. Ciliary movements, that means it is done through cilia, right? The movement is by cilia, or you can say by the ciliated epithelium, right? Ciliary movement occurs in most of our internal tubular organs, which are lined up by ciliated epithelium. The coordinated movement of cilia in the trachea, it helps us in removing dust particles and some of the foreign substances inhaled along with the atmospheric air. And passage of egg through the female reproductive tract is also facilitated by the ciliary movement. Okay, so these are the examples: ciliary movements in trachea, ciliary movements in female reproductive tract. How ova moves in the reproductive tract of the females and how it is facilitated by the ciliary movement. And then comes muscular movement. Movement of our limbs, jaws, tongue, etc. It requires muscular movement. The contractile property of muscles, they are effectively used for locomotion and other movements by human beings and majority of multicellular organisms. Locomotion, it requires a perfect coordinated activity of muscular, skeletal and neural system. Okay, so you can say that these are the three types of movement that is seen in humans: amoeboid movement, ciliary movement and muscular movement. Amoeboid movement, I have taught you that it is just like how amoeba moves using pseudopodia. So examples are macrophages and leukocytes that are present in our humans. They move in an amoeboid movement, okay? And then comes ciliary movement, which is done by cilia or by the ciliated epithelium, you can say. And for example, ciliary movements in trachea, ciliary movements in female reproductive tract, and then comes third is muscular movement, which is but obvious that it will be done by muscles. For example, if you have to move from one place to another, then the movement of limbs is an example of muscular movement, tongue when you speak, and jaws, okay? Now human muscular system will be studying about, okay? Now human muscular system. Muscle is a specialized tissue of mesodermal origin, right? And about 40 to 50% of the body weight of an adult is contributed by muscles. They have special properties like excitability, contractibility, extensibility and elasticity, okay? Which I have already taught you in my first section of the presentation. Muscles have been classified using different criteria, namely location, appearance, and nature of regulation of their activities. Based on their location, three types of muscles are found. And which are those? first is your skeletal muscle, and second is your visceral muscle, and third is your cardiac muscle. Now, how many muscles are there in the human body? Answer is 640 muscles. The muscles make up about 40% of the body mass. I have already taught you. And second question is, what is the longest muscle in the body? It's the sartorius muscle. Okay, the sartorius runs from outside of the hip down and across to the inside of the knee, and it twists and pulls the thigh outward. Okay, so this is the longest muscle that is found in body. Now, what is the smallest muscle in the body? Answer is stapedius. Remember, students, I have taught you that there are three kinds of bone present in ear. First is malleus, second is incus, and third is stapes. Stapes is the smallest bone present in a human body, and it is present in the ear. So the smallest muscle will be stapedius. Okay, the muscle which is associated with the stapes bone is stapedius. Stapedius is located deep in the ear. It is only 5 millimeter long and thinner than a cotton thread. Just imagine that it is that thinner, and it is involved in hearing. Now, what is the biggest muscle in the body? Answer is gluteus maximus. Okay, gluteus maximus is located in the buttock area. Okay, it pulls the leg backward powerfully for walking and running. Okay, so this is the biggest muscle in the body, which is located in the buttocks. Now, so locomotion, movement, maintenance of posture and muscle tone, heat production, protects the bone and internal organ. These are the 4 functions of muscles or human muscular system. These are the functions of muscles. First, that it helps in the movement. Okay. Second, that they maintain a erect posture of human, and second is that they help in heat production, and fourth is that they protect the skeletal bones and internal organs like your heart, kidney. Okay, it protects the bone and the internal organs too. Now we'll be studying about the muscle classification. As I have told you that muscles have been classified using different criteria, namely location, appearance, and nature of regulation of their activities. Okay, so 3 types of muscles are identified. First is skeletal, visceral, and cardiac. Okay, so 3 types of muscle. Functionally, if we classify muscles, then they are voluntary and involuntary. Okay, if we categorize them on the basis of functionality. Okay, so first is voluntarily, that can be moved at our will, that means which is in our control. And then comes involuntary, that can't be moved intentionally, that means it is not in our hands. Okay, and then comes structurally. Structurally means striated, that means they have stripes across the fiber. Okay, that means they have dark bands. I'll be teaching you in my next sections of presentation in detail, but for the time being, just know that muscles are categorized on the basis of structure. Then they are striated and smooth. Smooth muscles, they have no striations, that means they don't have any bands. Okay, now the 3 types of muscles: skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. Okay, skeletal muscles, that means they are closely associated with the skeletal components of the body. Okay, and they have stripy appearance, that means they have bands. And these muscles, they are in a voluntary control of the nervous system, that means they are in our control. Okay, and they are primarily involved in locomotory actions and changes of the body posture. And then comes a smooth muscle. A smooth muscle is also known as visceral muscle. They are located in the inner walls of the hollow visceral organs of the body, like the alimentary canal, reproductive tract, and they do not exhibit any striations. Okay, that means they do not exhibit any bands. Okay, and their activities are not under voluntary control of the nervous system. That means they are involuntary in nature. That means they are not in our control, and they assist, for example, in the transportation of food through digestive tract and gametes through genital tract. And then comes third is cardiac muscle, which is as the name suggests that these muscles are the muscles of heart. They are found solely in the heart, and many cardiac muscles cells assemble in the branching pattern to form a cardiac muscle. Based on appearance, cardiac muscles are striated. They are involuntary in nature, as the nervous system does not control any activities directly. Okay, that means they are not in our control. Now, what I need to know that muscles, type of muscles, the major muscle and action, muscle fiber types, what happens when we exercise, how muscles react when we exercise, and how muscles work, type of contractions that is seen in muscles, provide an erect posture to the human body. Okay, so what do our muscles do? Our muscles enable us to move our body parts, and because they are if they are skeletal muscles, and they are in your voluntary control, and you can move from one place to another with the help of the skeletal muscles. So it enables us to move our body parts and entire body from one place to another. And muscles, they give us our individual shape and size, of course. And third is that they protect and keep in place our abdominal organs. Okay, like our stomach and all, gallbladder and all. And fourth is that muscles, they enable us to maintain an erect posture, and it helps in the circulation of our blood, and they generate body heat when they contract. So there are over 600 skeletal muscles in the body, okay, of which 150 are there in the head and the neck. Now, what are the types of muscles? Then there are three types on the basis of how they work, how they perform their work. First is your skeletal or voluntary muscle. Second is your smooth or involuntary muscle. And third is your cardiac muscle. See, cardiac muscles, they are found solely in the heart. Skeletal muscles, they are found in our limbs, and smooth muscles, they are found in our internal organs, which is not in our control, and they are involuntary in action. So first is your skeletal or your voluntary muscles. They are under our conscious control. This means we instruct them to perform everyday actions such as walking, running, and jumping, and they have a strippy appearance. Okay, in my next section of the presentation, you'll be studying in detail about the skeletal muscle structure and functions, but here just know that these are the skeletal muscles, and they are closely associated with the skeletal components of the body, such as bones. Okay, and they have stripped appearance under the microscope, and hence they are called as striated muscles. Okay, and they are under voluntary control of the nervous system, and they are primarily involved in the locomotory actions and changes of the body posture. Okay, now major skeletal muscles are deltoid, biceps, abdominals, quadriceps, pectorals, latissimus dorsi, trapezius, triceps, gluteals, hamstrings, and gastrocnemius. Okay, so these are the skeletal muscles, and these are the main actions of these skeletal muscles. So this is the deltoid bone, which raises your arm sideways at the shoulder. Okay, that means it helps in the arm movement. Okay, then comes biceps. Biceps, it bends your arm at the elbow. Okay, and then comes abdominal. Abdominal is again a skeletal muscle that pull in your abdomen and flex your trunk so that you can bend forward. Then come quadriceps. It strengthen your leg at the knee and keep it straight when you stand. This means that this quadricep, it helps you in maintaining an erect posture when you are standing. And then comes pectorals. It raises your arm at the shoulder. It draws it across your chest. Latissimus dorsi, it pulls your arm down at the shoulder and it draws it back behind your back. Trapezius, it holds and rotates your shoulder. Triceps, it strengthens your arm at the elbow. See, a biceps, it is used to bend your arm at the elbow, whereas tricep, it helps to strengthen your arm at the elbow. Then comes gluteals. It pull your leg back at the hip, raise it sideways at the hip. Gluteus maximus is the biggest muscle found in human body. Hamstring, it bend your leg at the knee. Okay, this is the human muscular system. Now comes smooth or involuntary muscles. They work automatically. They are not under our conscious control. For example, muscles of the digestive system, muscles of the eye. Okay. Now comes cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscles is a special type of involuntary muscle and it is only found in heart. And it contracts regularly, continuously and without tiring, without any fatigue. And it works automatically, but it is under constant control of nervous and chemical. Okay. How do our muscles work? There are three main types of the muscular contraction. First is your isotonic, which is and concentric. Okay, and second is isotonic and eccentric, and third is your isometric. Okay, so three types of muscles are found. First is your isotonic and concentric. In this, our muscles shorten as they contract, and the ends of the muscle, they move closer together. Ends of the muscle means the Z lines. Okay, the Z lines, I have taught you in my first presentation. Please refer to that. So the ends of the muscle, they are moved closer or they are pulled closer together. Okay, for example, biceps during pull-up. See, this bodybuilder is building his body using dumbbell, and these are the biceps that help during the pull-up of this dumbbell. Okay, most sporting movements are of this type, isotonic and concentric. Okay, now the second type is isotonic and eccentric. Our muscles lengthen as they contract under tension. Unlike the previous one, in which isotonic and concentric, in that muscle used to get shortened, but here in the isotonic and eccentric, the muscles, they lengthen as they contract under tension. Okay, and the ends of the muscle, they move further apart. For example, the biceps when we lower down from a pull-up. Okay, now comes isometric. Isometric, that means our muscles stays the same length as they contract. That means your muscles have undergone contraction, right? Now that contraction will remain same. Okay, and there is no movement, so the ends of the muscle, they stay at the same distance apart. For example, our shoulder muscles during a tug of war game. This is the tug of war game. That means you are using your muscles of the hand and they have contracted and that will stay the same length. Okay. Now, how do muscles work together? Muscle can only contract. If one muscle contracts to bring two bones together, another muscle is need to contract to bring the bones apart again. For example, a bicep curl. So, muscles always work in pair. We need a large number of pairs of muscles to work together in a different ways for even simple body movements. This is biceps that is in the contracted position because you have pulled your hand closer to the shoulder, okay, and this is the tricep. When this is in the contracted state, then it will be in the relaxed state, okay. See here also in the thigh, this is the bicep and this is the tricep. Bicep is in the relaxed position, tricep is in the contracted position, okay. Muscle can work as flexors, extensors, prime movers, antagonists, fixators, and synergists. Flexors means they contract to bend our joint. Extension means they contract to strengthen the joint. Agonist means contracting to start a movement. And antagonist means relaxing to allow movement to take place. Fixators, contracting to give the working muscle a firm base. How are muscles attached to bones? With the help of tendon. Tendon is a connecting link between muscle and the bone. So the muscle fiber, they end in a strong white flexible cord, which we call it as tendon. This is tendon. This red part is your tendon. This is your bone and this is your muscle. So this is a connecting link that between bones and muscles. But don't get confused with the ligaments. Ligaments, they join bone to bone, whereas tendons, it joins muscles to bone, okay. Now muscle speed and tone. Muscle fibers, they are also known as myofibrils. So our muscles are made up of cells called as muscle fibers. These tiny thread-like fibers, they are packed together in a bundle. See, this is a muscle bundle, okay, and these small are your myofibrils, or you can say that these are the muscle cells. Muscles contract because the fibers do. These fibers contract, and because of these fiber contraction, your muscles move. This entire bundle of the skeletal muscle moves. Muscle contract because the fibers do. Muscle fibers don't all contract together, okay. Please note that. The number contracting at any one time depends on how much force is needed. Okay, that is directly proportional. Now muscle fiber types. There are two types, slow twitch and fast twitch. Okay. Now we'll study fast twitch muscle fiber first. Fast twitch muscle fibers, they do not have good oxygen supply. That means they run under anaerobic condition, and they tire very quickly because there is no oxygen, so they get fatigue very quickly, and they are stronger than the low twitch muscles. Okay, they contract very quickly. They are used when we need fast, powerful movements. That means when we have to run in any competition. So then the fast twitch muscle fibers, they are used when we need fast and powerful movements. They are used only in high intensity exercise. They are used in anaerobic activities. Now comes slow twitch muscle fibers. They have a very good oxygen supply, unlike fast twitch muscle fibers. They work for a long time without tiring. They are not as strong as fast twitch fibers, and they take longer time to contract, and they are used in all types of exercises. But they are used especially in the aerobic activities. Okay, this slow twitch muscle fiber is just opposite of the fast twitch muscle fibers. Okay, now mixture of the muscle fibers. Every muscle contains a mixture of fast and slow twitch muscle fiber, but the mixture is different in different muscle. For example, in gastrocnemius, it contains a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers. So standing on the toes is very tiring. That is the reason. Okay, your fast twitch muscle fibers are there in the toes, and they tire you, and because of that you feel so fatigued, so lethargic. And the mixture is different for different people also. Some distance runners have 80% slow twitch fibers, while some power lifters or bodybuilders, they have 80% fast twitch muscle fibers. Okay, now muscle fiber and sport. If we jog slowly, only a few of our slow twitch fibers, they contract to move our legs. When we increase our speed, we use more slow twitch fibers. This is the difference. Okay, now what happens as we exercise? While exercising, there is an increased flow of blood to the working muscles. Muscles take up more oxygen from the blood, and the muscle contract more often and more quickly. More of the muscle fibers, they contract, and there is rise in the temperature of the muscle, and thus your body temperature also rises. Our store of ATP and creatine phosphate in the muscles are used up because we are exercising, and waste products such as carbon dioxide and lactic acid build up in the muscle. These waste products, they lead to tiredness, and stores of muscle glucose, they are used up because you are exercising, and our ability to carry on may be affected. Now comes muscle tone. Even when a muscle is relaxed, a number of fibers are contracted, enough to keep the muscle taut, but not enough to cause movement. Okay, this partial state of contraction is called as muscle tone. Okay, without muscle tone, you would not be able to stand up in the erect position. Okay, because this is the partial state of contraction in which some of the muscle fiber, they are in the contracted state, which is enough to keep the muscle taut. So this was all about the second section, that is types of the movement and the human muscular system. In my next section of the presentation, we'll be studying about the skeletal muscle structure and function in detail. So till then, stay tuned and keep watching Edupedia word videos.